I recently had a friend of mine, a pastor friend of mine, send me this video by a Pentecostal preacher about the beard, shaving the face, so forth and so on. So take a listen to this quick clip.
There's some things that y'all preach that are just traditions. You right. Ain't a lick of Bible about facial hair. But we still shave our faces. I didn't think I'd get much shouting right there. Why? Because there's some traditions that were put into us, Brother Angel, that I'm not willing to change. Oh, yeah, they may have been wrong back then, but they ain't wrong now. Why? Because they got put into us. And there's things that are more important than figuring out what we can get away with.
This is what happens when Holy Scripture gets pushed to the side and what somebody wants, feels, thinks, or likes gets pushed to the forefront. This is why no matter what a pastor feels in his personal opinion or emotions, he should never preach something that he prefers as though it is a command and dictate that to a congregation. Else, we really don't even need Holy Scripture anymore. We can just kind of make it up as we go along. Deuteronomy 4 verse 2, Yahweh commands us not to add commandments or take commandments away. It's just that some people have been taught things by parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, or a pastor or elder that they love, and they have a hard time letting it go. Let me read you something in the Gospel of Mark that Yeshua said. Mark chapter 7 verse 6, he answered them, Isaiah prophesied correctly about you hypocrites, as it is written, These people honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. They worship me in vain, teaching as doctrines the commands of men. Disregarding the command of the Almighty, you keep the tradition of men. He also said to them, You completely invalidate the Almighty's command in order to maintain your tradition. And then down in verse 13, you revoke the Almighty's word by your tradition that you have handed down, and you do many other similar things. Now there's a context to Mark chapter 7 in regards to a hand-washing dispute and the fifth commandment that Yeshua is talking to some Jewish leaders about. The point though here is that we understand that some traditions violate written commandments of Yahweh. Whenever a tradition violates a written commandment, or whenever a tradition is exalted to the level of a written commandment, it becomes a stench in Yahweh's nostrils. You can have a tradition and something that you enjoy, family-wise or even church-wise, but you should never exalt that tradition to the status of a command. You should never teach other people that it is a dictate or an ordinance that Almighty Yahweh has sanctioned. In this case, this Pentecostal preacher and those that are cheering him on, they have violated the commandment that Yahweh laid down for men in Leviticus 19:27 and actually in Deuteronomy 22 verse 5 in favor of their tradition. And he admits it. It's a sad state of affairs, but we need to make sure the book of the law, the written Torah of Yahweh, is prominent and preeminent in our lives.